Hello, Luminary. I hope that this beginning of Mercury retrograde has gone as smoothly as it possibly can be. I'm really excited to share with you June's highlights as well as the full week coming up for May 30th through June 5th. All right. Welcome to the Savvy Luminary podcast, Astrology for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Leslie Tagorda, creator of the Astrobrand Method, business astrologer, brand designer, author, and Aquarius boss woman. I help visionary spiritual entrepreneurs and impact makers like you illuminate and amplify your unique star powers so you can be the luminary you were born to be. I love understanding all of the cosmic transits that we are all feeling. When I put together this Business StarCast report, this is so that you can understand the energies that we all get to play with. Remember, these are collective cosmic energies available to us all, and there's nothing to be fearful of. Even if there's something like a challenging retrograde or a square that you might be feeling, because instead of looking at a transit as being challenging or hard, we get to get curious with how do we get to use this energy in our lives, in our businesses, instead of working against them. So as you're about to listen to the cosmic notes of this upcoming week, I urge you to get curious about what you need to learn and how you get to work with this energy in your businesses. For those outer planets with those larger shifts, those outer planets that move slowly, you may feel this energy leading up to a few days, even weeks, and leading away from. And of course, if you're going to personalize these energies with conjunctions and meetings where I'm giving you specific degrees and activations, find out where that degree lives in your own natal chart. The astrological house that contains that degree is going to give you insight as to where in your life and your business you're going to have the most impact. And if you have any natal energies that are also being activated by any of these cosmic energies, that's going to give you more insight as to what's coming up for you in your own business. All right, let's dive into the Business StarCast for this upcoming week. How are you doing after last week? Last week, wasn't that just such a huge week with all of the shift? I hope with last week's full moon eclipse in Sagittarius that you let go of all of your old beliefs so that you could really make space to let in your big dreams. And then, of course, Mercury is now going retrograde. We get this time. So I was wondering how those last few days were for you as Mercury came to a complete stop. We shall see. Fingers crossed that technical glitches were at a minimal for you. Before we dive into this upcoming week's astrology and the June highlights, I wanted to remind you of a few things that are coming up. If you're still looking for some insight for this upcoming Mercury retrograde, you can always download a free worksheet at thesavvyluminary.com/Mercury. You know, we have this extended Mercury retrograde. We have 25 days, and there's a lot of journaling questions in there that'll help you get insight as to what you need to rethink in your business. And then I'm already preparing for the upcoming new moon eclipse in Gemini that happens on June 10th. And I'll be hosting a new moon ceremony on June 11th, that's Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, with Dr. Sveta Chawla, and she is going to help us guide and connect into our hearts so that we can really find the big message that is coming through. Looking forward to June. We have a lot of exciting things going on in the cosmos and here at the Savvy Luminary. Okay, so let's go through the astrological events, the Business StarCast for the week of May 30th through June 5th. Then after that, I'll drop the highlights for all of June. So first of all, if you are in the United States, happy Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the official kickoff for summer. So I hope that you're planning some fun this summer, that it's not going to be all work, but that you'll get to refill your cup. We have a pretty quiet week until June 2nd. So actually that's really great because after the bumpy ride from last week, all of the shifts that are going on, we needed some time to integrate. So the next big aspect that's happening is on June 2nd, where we have our fourth quarter moon in Pisces at 11 degrees and 59 minutes. So this is pretty much 12 degrees at exactly 12:24 a.m. Pacific, 3:24 a.m. Eastern the next day on June 3rd, where the theme for this moon phase is to relax and flow. What inner consciousness is now aligned to your soul? It's a wonderful day to relax and spend time alone with your soul or with spirit. It's so wonderful. I personally love spending time alone. It's really wonderful to reconnect with yourself. So even if you get to carve out 5 minutes of alone time, go for a walk, or, tell your children that you need some reading time alone, whatever you can do, make sure you spend some time alone during this fourth quarter moon in Pisces. The last quarter moon phase, of course, as you know, is an inner integration phase in our lives and businesses. It's a time to cultivate all that we have learned and assess what we want to continue with and what we want to turn back into the earth as nourishment for the seeds we've planted. With the fourth quarter moon in Pisces, spend some inner reflective time connecting with your soul and spirit, which of course is what we're doing right now as we are in the very beginning of our extended Mercury retrograde in Gemini. Then later that day, we have Venus entering Cancer, also on June 2nd at 6:19 a.m. Pacific, 9:19 a.m. Eastern, where the theme for Venus in Cancer is connecting through emotional safety. With whom in your life and your business do you need to create belonging? It's that Cancer archetype that wants to create that safety net, that place that everybody feels like they belong. But then, of course, there are rules to be played by if you are a part of the Cancerian group. Venus enters sensitive Cancer, where she desires to luxuriate in self-care, nurturing, and all things close to home. Now, for just 3 weeks until June 26th, it's time to value your emotions and what you need to feel safe. Connect with those that you consider like family during this time to nourish your sense of belonging. It's a great 3 weeks to establish guidelines to build safe communities in your business. These guidelines would outline what safety and inclusion means and the consequences of not abiding. These guidelines, in turn, connect with your soul-aligned customers and co-creators, as they will definitely know that they belong. If you have any planets or angles in Cancer over the next 3 weeks, Venus will share her peace and abundance on your natal energies. On Thursday, June 3rd, it is a beautiful day to give and receive acknowledgement. We have a few things going on that day. The Sun, our creative vibrancy, and Saturn, our dedication and commitment, are in harmonious flow today, while the two lucky planets, Venus, our values, and Jupiter, our beliefs, are also in flow today. With so much ease, it's a wonderful day to give and receive. What better way to warm your heart than to share a generous hug or a note of gratitude, all as you warm their heart. So again, a wonderful day to give and receive. So let's break it down. The first aspect that we have is Sun trining Saturn retrograde at exactly 12:05 p.m. Pacific, 3:04 p.m. Eastern, where your commitments are validated. What signals are you now receiving that focus and confirm your dedication? For a day leading up to and a day leading away from, you'll receive affirmations that you've made the right decision. Because of this, you will be able to focus your creative and communicative energies to enable you to work towards your commitment. Pay attention to these messages and signals. It is quite possible that those signs have been there all along, but you have only learned to recognize them. So that you can recognize and trust said signals more often, pay attention to what these signals look and feel like. That way you can capture that energy and recognize them more quickly next time. The Sun will be at Gemini in 13 degrees in harmonious flow with Saturn retrograde at Aquarius 13 degrees. Then later on that day, we have Venus trining Jupiter. This is like such a lovey-dovey energy, so lucky and abundant, feel-good energy. This happens at exactly 4:33 p.m. Pacific, 7:33 p.m. Eastern. It is a lucky and lovely day. Who can you shower with appreciation? It's a beautiful day to appreciate everything and express that appreciation. There's a good chance you're feeling on top of the world with your senses heightened. Share the love and let the people in your business and life know how much you care about them. As you fill your heart, you will fill theirs. And with full hearts, what might you attract? Be on the lookout for lucky chances. Venus will be at Cancer of 1 degree in harmonious flow with Jupiter in its home sign of Pisces 1 degree. Can you just feel the energy, like how wonderful this feels? If your natal planets or angles are in water signs like Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces near 1 degree, you will feel even more of a boost of luck and generosity. So pay attention for a day leading up to and away from this lucky, lucky day. And then on Saturday, June 5th, it's another day with a few things going on in the sky, a great day to find meaning in decisions you now must make. With Mercury retrograde squaring off with Neptune at the same time that Mars is opposite Pluto, there are deciding factors that are coming to the fore. You're meant to look at the meaning behind the face value of what's happening to you now. This meaning is where you are now getting crystal clear on your truth that drives you. Mercury retrograde squares off with Neptune at exactly 12:05 p.m. Pacific, 3:05 p.m. Eastern, where you get to revisit your artistic communications for dreamy insight. What dreamy awareness now gives you deeper understanding? A few weeks ago, around May 22nd, you tapped into your big visions through your artistic pursuits. Maybe you didn't completely understand what was coming through to you from the outside sources. Now, with this second square off, you get to revisit this energy and take a second look. This time, your perception is fine-tuned and you can see the truth of the experience that is giving you insight. What is the vision and spiritual truth that is now coming to you? Mercury retrograde will be in Gemini at 23 degrees, squaring off with Neptune at Pisces, 23 degrees. Later on, just a few minutes later, Mars will be exactly opposite of Pluto. When we have these oppositions, think of it as like the full moon, full illumination phase between Mars and Pluto at exactly 12:45 p.m. Pacific, 3:45 p.m. Eastern. Power and drive are illuminated. What surge to transform is driving you now? You will likely need to make a choice at this time, a choice based on who you want to become versus a choice based on who you think you should become. Spirit has been showing you your soul's vision. Your heart has been showing you that only you can make yourself feel secure. You know, you trust, you have this. See how these themes keep on coming back up for you, for us, for me? Mars will be at Cancer at 26 degrees, opposite of Pluto, still at Capricorn of 26 degrees. So that's all we have for this week of May, this last week of May into June. So let's talk about the June highlights. Earlier, I mentioned that Jeff and I had a chance to go to Calistoga to do a planning retreat. And as part of our planning retreat, we actually have all of our June episodes planned out. Actually, we have all of our episodes through August planned out. Now, I know that you're saying, well, Leslie, you do two episodes a week. How do you not already have it planned out? Well, being an Aquarius sun with Jupiter conjunct and then my moon in Sagittarius, I'm really kind of a go with the flow and I'm often shooting from the hip, which I'm not saying that is a very wise decision. And I love and appreciate a plan, but actually having to sit down and make a plan is very, very difficult. So that's why Jeff and I had to take a little break, get out of our normal environments to do this. So I just want to share with you, we have a plan for June, and I want to share the upcoming episodes with you. So for our upcoming episodes in June, on June 2nd, I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Sveta Chawla. She's going to be sharing with us all of her journey and how she went from becoming a pharmacist and then how she has now found her passion being a copywriter to the soul. Then on June 9th, we're going to be talking about the Gemini archetype in your brand and business and how to use Gemini energy to find your brand voice. And then on Wednesday, June 16th, I'll be interviewing the one and only Jeff Compagnero. If you haven't already met him from one of our new moon workshops, he is always here helping me produce things, helping me execute on all of the content. It's just the two of us that we create every single month. On June 23rd, we are going to have a replay because we'll be in Cancer season by then. I'll be doing the replay for the 5 ways to use your moon in your brand. And then on June 30th, I'll be sharing with you about the Cancer archetype and how to create emotional security and belonging, safe communities in your business. I'm super excited about all of the episodes that we have coming up for you over the summer. Okay, are you ready for June highlights and overview? It is a big one. So, June's theme overall is re-evaluating clear communications. So, get ready for yet another big month of shifts where we get to reflect and get really clear on truths. That last week with our full moon eclipse was just a preview of what's to come. While business will still proceed, June isn't exactly the month to cross off all of those tasks on your list or launch your next dream project. The energy of the month is really about slowing down to get clear about your truth, feeling into your deep emotional wealth, and opening yourself up to trusting in spirit to help guide you. June star powers are asking you to rethink, to tap into your mind, heart, and soul to get clear on what you perceive, what you want to feel, and what you are called to do. It is in this intersection where you find your truth. If there isn't a clear intersection between your mind, heart, and soul, you can't build an aligned business that nourishes and sustains you. In May, you're able to see that your worth isn't tied to how much you give or how much you help others. Your value is purely from you being you. I know that's so profound, and I am still learning that. I think that was like one of my big messages of what I needed to let go during that full moon eclipse. All that you give back makes you part of your reciprocal ecosystem, but it doesn't purely create your value. In June, you're going to make space to rethink what is possible and create a new belief system that allows you to connect the dots between what you want and what you love. It is possible to build a business that is both nourishing and pleasurable. June star powers support your energy to rethink your new truth by leaps and bounds. That's why we had all of that cleansing work at the end of May. You're going to be able to see the systemic responsibilities you need to break through in your business. You're going to be able to reprioritize feelings and safety to create belonging, safety in your business. And you're going to re-envision your big dream and highest potential. This month, the stars show us the shifts with our continued Mercury retrograde in Gemini now through June 22nd. Venus enters Cancer on June 2nd. It's only going to be there for 3 weeks though, because Venus is zipping through. Then Mars enters Leo on June 11th. Saturn retrograde and Uranus exactly square off for our second time on June 14th. Although we're really feeling this energy the entire year, but as it comes to a head, let's see what systems break. I can already see themes breaking in the collective, in the world as a whole. Then we have our solstice as Sun enters Cancer on June 20th. We have our Jupiter retrograde starting on June 20th, our Neptune retrograde starting on June 25th, and then Venus rushes into Leo on June 26th. So you can see that in June, we have a lot of our planets going in retrograde motion, and Jupiter and Neptune, both outer planets, they shift gears within a week of each other. And anytime we have this kind of shift, we definitely feel that as a more seismic shift. So we have a lot of things going on in June. Make space, make time, resist the urge to rush and hustle, because June is not that month for it, okay? And then our lunations, we have our new moon solar eclipse at Gemini of 19 degrees, that's on June 10th, and our full moon at Capricorn of 3 degrees on June 24th. So going back to that new moon solar eclipse, that will be the second and final eclipse of this eclipse season, happening on the Sagittarius Sagittarius Gemini axis, where again, we are letting go of old beliefs so that we can bring in new truths and understanding. So I hope you can see that maybe it's not the most productive time of year if we're just looking at productivity from a patriarchal capitalistic kind of viewpoint of getting things done and earning profit, but it is a very deep, integrative, reflective time where we get to do some soul searching and really come up with our next plan that is more aligned for not only our own betterment and highest potential, but also the betterment of the collective and society and building equity and safety. So I'm really looking forward to June, and I hope that you are too. Again, if you are somebody that loves to plan, make sure that you enter in your calendar for June 11th, where we're going to be having a new moon solar eclipse ceremony. Joining me will be Dr. Sweta Chawla. She'll be guiding us on a heart-connected visualization so that we can get to the core of our true message coming through. If you're interested in joining me and Dr. Chawla for our new moon solar eclipse in Gemini ceremony, then head over to thesavvyluminary.com/new moon. And then if you're still curious about the Mercury retrograde that we'll be having almost all month long, then head over to thesavvyluminary.com/Mercury to get your free downloadable worksheet. All right, Luminary, till soon. The greatest thing that you could do to me to pass things forward is to head over to Apple iTunes and leave a rating and review for this podcast. Let others know what you think, and each rating and review helps this podcast be more visible to listeners like you.